At the beginning of the film, we are introduced to a pilot named Whip in a hotel room. It seems like he is drunk, he has taken a lot of quantity of alcohol. Even he was still drinking. He was going to have a flight after an hour. In such conditions, it could be dangerous to control flight. Whip to awake him was taking cocaine. He leaves for a flight, where he meets his co-pilot Ken. To discover himself ailed, he demands painkillers from the air hostess. States that he couldn't sleep for 2 nights so he feels like. On the other side of the movie, we are introduced to Nicole who is drug addicted. She comes to a drug dealer to take drugs. The dealer warns her about the minimum quantity of drugs as it is too dangerous. Now we again watch Whip in the movie. He takes off the plane without noticing the severe weather. He decides to switch autopilot mode and starts to take off himself. In such terrible conditions, they hardly take plans in higher altitudes towards the sky. Whip wants to take place above the clouds so they could experience clear weather. Throughout, people face a lot of trouble. The co-pilot of the Whip, Ken, neither likes his decision nor does his condition seem fine. But he couldn't say anything to him as he was a captain. Luckily, they are successful in this mission and all the passengers are safe. Here on the passenger side, Whip excuses for the inconvenience. During apology, Whip mixes alcohol in the juice. He drinks in front of everyone. Later on, an air hostess comes towards a cockpit, an area where the plane could be controlled. She watches Whip close his eyes and sleeping and the plane was on autopilot mode. Air controllers on Earth control the position of the plane. Contact Ken. Informs him the plane landing area is ready. As Ken press some keys, the plane becomes out of control. The plane shown outside it was turned out. In such a serious condition Whip was normal. Now Whip says to Ken to pull out the entire luggage from the plane. During that, the hydrologic handle was too out of control. The plane was more difficult to handle after that. Whip, to an air hostess on cockpit, asks to pull down a lever. But after this too, the plane was out of control. Everyone was in danger. Later as a result of a jerk, an air hostess falls and gets faint. Now the plane down towards was about to crash. Whip knows that everyone was about to die and no one would survive. He records something in Coptic. He declares that he loves his son. Whip again riskily take a controller on the handle and turned over it again. Resultantly, it strikes on the passenger side. A hostess dies while saving the child. On Earth we notice Nicole. He took an overdose of the drugs. She was taken to a hospital. While taking her towards the hospital, people watch a plane near this was flipped. On plan, we watch Whip was ready for a crash landing. Both of the engines of the plane have been destroyed. Plan by flipping it tries to land in a field. Later on, a wing collapsed with a tower, and the plane was badly shaken. They land severely even the plane divides into 2 parts. Most of the passengers died in this plane accident, rest were injured. The Whip was faint because his head was shaken. As he wakes up he finds himself in a hospital. He meets 2 men, one was his friend, second was his boss Charlie. He appreciates him, as he considered Whip has hardly managed the plane. And he saved the lives of many passengers. As 600 people die and many were injured. Later on, we watch, few people come to interview him. After they leave, his friend offers him alcohol but he rejects it. When everyone leaves him, he goes for smoking in the corridor. There he meets 2 people, one was a cancer patient and the rest was the girl. The same girl Nicole has taken an overdose of the drugs. Here Whip and Nicole befriend each other. He takes Nicole's home address and promises to visit and leaves. At his house, Whip receives a call from his boss Charlie, who informs him according to his report he was drunk. As we have been in a case, we are going to meet a lawyer. Charlie was helping so, as it was the problem of his airlines. I was in danger, if they lost the case he would lose his airlines too. So, he hired a famous lawyer. As in that accident 600 people died. Someone was responsible for the 2. Whip forgets his promise of stopping alcohol. Takes a lot of alcohol and reaches Nicole's home. As he watches the landlord of Nicole was raping her because she was out of money. Whip gives money to the landlord to get out of the problem. He takes Nicole to his farmhouse. During all this, avoiding press media, because his reputation was ruined. Whip meets the air hostess of the plane who declared that she was witnessed that he was drunk. Here Whip knows Ken was alive but paralyzed as his both legs stopped working. He visits Ken, they're his wife, and Ken was grateful about his life was a miracle. In the next scene, Whip and his friend Nicole take him towards a rehabilitation center. So he could stop alcohol and drugs. In a while Whip becomes bored. He leaves in a while, Nicole finds him in a garage. She states they both need to be alright. Whip becomes angry and scolds her. Nicole leaves his house. Whip when reaches his house, he watches media people over there. To escape from them, she goes to his wife's house. Here we know his family was too obsessed with his drinking and angry. He has ruined their repute so. As he leaves his wife's house he is surrounded by media. He answers them weirdly as he was drunk still. Because of this, his case becomes more complicated. When Charlie comes to know, he decides to live with Wim till hearing day. Instead of this, Wim managed to find alcohol somehow. He drinks all night. When Charlie and some people come to him he was senseless. As he wasn't having any option he arranges everything. He gets him ready for court. Here we see Charlie and the lawyer make the case strong. They accuse the allegation of being drunk to die air hostess. She died while saving a child from death. Here Whip stands and confesses everything that he was drunk and even drunk today. On his confession, they lost the case but his punishment is reduced half. In the next scene, we watch Whip in jail. He was telling his story to his jail mates. He spends 13 months in jail and also leaves alcohol. By keeping himself away from the family he establishes a good relationship with them. In the last Whip spends time with his son. Here the movie ends.